So I hope everybody's well. What I was looking to do today was to talk about compassion. I had previously thought about doing a video on compassion and authenticity. However, the events of the last couple of days have made me rethink that. And what I want to do is just share my experiences over the last couple of days and then really try and talk a bit about compassion and offer some pointers on how we can live so much more compassionately in the world, regardless of whatever's going on. As I said, the last couple of days have been quite busy for me. They've been quite full on. But what was really lovely was yesterday I decided to take a bit of time off, and I went with a friend for a drive. And we're going through Dartington, which is in Devon, the estate, and I happened to see an elderly Indian gentleman who looked really, really familiar. And as he's walked up nearer, I'm thinking, I know this man. So, he's seen me, we've caught each other's attention. And I said to him, I go, look, you look like someone I know. To which he replied, yes, my name is Satish Kumar. I immediately get out of the car and started speaking to him and just literally said, look, it's such an honor to meet you. Satish Kumar, for those of you who don't know, is a long-time campaigner for peace. He left home at the age of 9 to become a Jain monk. He then took part in a peace walk, which was a journey in which he traveled with no money in order to deliver packages of peace tea to leaders in India, Moscow, Paris, London, and New York. And these were the early nuclear powers. And he's campaigned for nuclear disarmament and really peace in the world since those days. He's now 84 years old and he's still doing workshops and he's still writing, and he is, what I would say, an elder statesman in the spiritual community. So I've got these moments. We had this beautiful, delightful conversation about Sufism and Qawwali music, and it was incredible seeing this 85-year-old with such a zest for life. I mean, I was in the company of greatness in the truest sense of the word. And what was lovely was I had a bit of a groupie moment. We had a bit of a conversation, but what was lovely then was just there was this silence and he started speaking. And it was beautiful. And we talked about the divide between India and Pakistan and what partition had done, and how he felt that it really should just be one country. And I agreed. And here was a man who's seen all sorts and yet campaigned tirelessly for peace all his life. And like I said, I wanted to do this video on compassion, and what I really wanted to talk about was compassion from the viewpoint of sometimes we have to call people out our stories, and sometimes we have to be authentic, and and that can make us unpopular, like calling people out our story. And then upon meeting this man, I realized that sometimes compassion can also be about just sitting with people and sitting with them in their pain, and being with them without trying to judge them or without trying to fix them or trying to do something in some way. And as I said, it was just beautiful because it created this space now, because it was almost like I realized that compassion is so much more. There's a lot of talk about compassion in the world, and yet very few people truly know what compassion is or practice it. And here I was in the company of a man who'd made his whole life about others. And to me, that was true compassion. There's a hadith of the Prophet that says, you cannot be a believer until you wish for your brother or sister what you wish for yourself. And here was a man actually living that. And like I said, he'd worked tirelessly. He wasn't brutalized by what he'd seen in his life. There's this beautiful energy around him in which, he truly believed in what he was saying, and he truly, and his very being, his very essence was a testament to what he believed. And that's such a compassionate thing. And maybe if more of us can take that attitude of really practicing or trying to be compassionate, and not just about calling people out on their stories, which is, yes, I fully concede sometimes is needed. There is a lot of, thanks to the rise of social media, people not really living their lives as authentically as possible, and sometimes calling them out on that story is the most compassionate thing you can do. And yes, you're not going to make friends, and they're probably not going to thank you for it as well. But somewhere along the line, we have that faith that the penny will drop and they'll realize that, look, here was a friend who was really trying to help us. And yet on the other side of it as well, and this was something that just really being able to speak to Satish was something that really came up for me. And that was that sometimes it really is just about sitting with people in their pain and not judging them. And I know that I've been guilty of that in the past myself. And that rather than trying to fix someone or trying to improve their life or trying to show them something, maybe the very just act of sitting and being with someone and just really being present and really being present with them can be so much more powerful than trying to call them out or saying what have you. There's a reason why they're in that story as and how. And maybe sometimes in our rush to try and help people, we judge people unfairly. And like I said, it's something that I've been very guilty of. And yet yesterday, a chance meeting, really opened up something else, because here was somebody who was so much further down the path on the journey. And like I said, I considered it a complete honor to even just be sharing space with this person. And what was beautiful was that the energy and just the conversation really helped me in a huge way. And I realized that compassion sometimes can be about calling people out, but also there's another side to that as well. And that is that sometimes it's about sitting with people who are hurt, who may be broken, and just want somebody to sit with them without judgment, without trying to fix that person, and to really just sit with them and sit with them in their pain, and to be really present. And in that presence, eliminating the idea of I, eliminating the idea of another, and realizing that when we sit and we are present, that compassion is singular and it's whole and it's complete, as opposed to something we need to do. And it's something that we are. Our very nature is love and is compassion. And being in the presence of a man who for 84 years of his life has campaigned tirelessly to make the world a better place, or maybe even to remind the world that it is a better place, was such an honor. And as I said, I had this whole idea that I was going to talk about, authenticity and compassion, and I was going to offer one side, and it was really about, sometimes we need to call out people, and it's okay, you may not be popular, but it's from a place of authenticity. But a place of authenticity can also be about sitting with someone and really just being present with them. So it's kind of turned into 3 videos as opposed to one. One, my experience with an absolutely incredible human being, an incredible individual. And also really to say that, compassion can also sometimes be about just sitting with the other without any judgment, without any trying, without any being, or without any doing. And as I said, I've been guilty of in the past of judging people harshly and unfairly. And for that, I apologize, to whoever I may have hurt. Because what was really beautiful was standing with this man, I realized that there was just singularity. There is just love, one without another. There was this part in our conversation where we talked about India and Pakistan. And what was beautiful is he said the words, there is no separation. And when we see that there is no separation, then we see that there is only just this compassion. There is only this love. There is only this who we are. And it's in that love that we discover who we truly are. And as I said, a complete honor to meet someone so much further down the path. It was, I certainly came away so much better for it. And in that sense, a man who's been, campaigning for peace, really by helping me understand, showed me the greatest of compassion. And if we can live with that attitude, we will always see that wherever we turn, we see the face of our beloved. Wherever we turn, we will always find our answers. And in that sense, it helps us deepen, because I don't feel that any man is an island that has all the answers. And what was beautiful was life put this beautiful being in front of me, just so that really I would be recording a video. I was going to record this video yesterday, but of course life had better plans. And yes, no doubt the video on compassion authenticity would have been absolutely wonderful. However, it was incomplete because I needed to meet this person. So in that sense, their very being, their very being who they are has added something to this. And if we can come together in that oneness, if we can come together in that compassion, in that love, where there is one without another, we're all so much more richer for it. And as we're richer for it, we realize that there is really no separation, that there is really just this love, this compassion, this authenticity, this singularity that is happening right here and right now, and is who we truly are. So thank you for listening to this video, and I look forward to us meeting again.